Hello guys, nice to have you again on my channel. It's always a pleasure having you. This channel has to do with contemporary issues, news presentations, programs presentations. I'm a radio presenter, so whatever I do on my radio show, I bring it to this channel. So this is Rachel on our TV, like you heard. If you want to get more of this, do like the video, subscribe to my channel to get an update every week. So today I'm dedicating this edition to the late gospel minister Osinachi Nwachukwu, who was allegedly killed by the husband, and the story is hot like fire. It's on social media, it's everywhere, and people are screaming that why did she come out of the marriage? But in Nigeria here, when a woman leaves her marriage, she's tagged a divorcee, and there's a kind of stigma on her. The worst is that the religious houses are not helping matters. If you go to your pastor to say you're suffering abuse in your marriage, they will tell you to remain there and be praying that God hates divorce. And some people remain in such marriages and die. So that's the case of this lady. So details of that is what you will see in this video. I actually brought two people who have been married, who are married. They spent so many years in their marriages, and their marriages are successful. So I got them to analyze the death of this woman and how we can curb domestic violence. Details of that is what you will see in this video. Let's go right into the video. Golden voice that will never be heard again on the surface of the earth because of her life being cut short by her supposed lover. Someone she called a husband cut short her life. And as a background, a famous woman of God we all respect, Funke Adejimo Felix, has lent her voice to this whole saga. A lot of notable people have come to talk about it. Frank Edwards was one of them, and a whole lot of people have testified to the fact that this lady was actually murdered by her husband. Let's hear a little about what Funke talked about. She said so much. It's so touching. So I have a guest. I'm not gonna do this alone. I have a guest, my co-presenter, Chioma Gwere. She's been married for a while now, precisely 22 years, and I have someone else in the house, the man, who's been married for 18 years, Ikechukwu Onoha. So Chioma Gwere and Ikechukwu Onoha are my guests. Guys, you're welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Okay. Now, you heard what Funke said. You all know the story. Now, let's look at domestic violence. Chioma, what is domestic violence?
Well, let's start with domestic, if you want to break it down. Domestic has to do with the house, with the home front, with the family, anything that happens around there. Every affair that happens in the home front, that is domestic. Then when you talk about violence, it becomes an abuse. It can just be emotional, it can just be physical, it can be spiritual if some people decide to go diabolic. Violence is in a situation where you want to take total control. You just want to be the one in charge. And as far as marriage is concerned, you want to put the victim or the other spouse or the other mate of yours under your thumb to decide what happens without the person lending his or her voice. That is, in a nutshell, domestic violence.
All right, I'll go over to Ikechukwu Onoha. Can you tell us what you make out of this story, the story that started trending since yesterday on domestic violence? What do you think are the causes of domestic violence?
Well, I feel that when we neglect some principles of the Bible, because clearly Bible has made it clear what true marriage represents. So when these principles are neglected by the man or the woman in a marriage, there is bound to be trouble. And one of those troubles is domestic violence.
Okay. So from how this lady died and she was, they said is her husband who killed her. What's your reaction to that? What will drive a man? Okay, let me start by asking you, in this 18 years of you being married, has your wife done something that drove you to the point of hitting her and you actually hit her? Or have you ever hit her?
First, yes, I've been married for 18 years. And she has done a couple of things that should have made me hit her. But I didn't do that. What helped me is self-control. I am not a perfect person. So
in these 18 years, you've never hit her?
I've not hit my wife.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that she has not done anything that would warrant me beat her. She has done something. For instance, when one of her friends was getting married, she wanted to attend the wedding, and our daughter was ill, and I told her not to go, but she refused. The little girl was running fever, very high fever. She was fully dressed, ready to go, and I told her, you can't go. She had started the car to drive out of the compound, and I locked the gate. And I took the car to my room, and I took my baby to my room. So she was grounded. That was the day I would have beaten her, but I didn't do so. Because the best way to correct a woman is not to lay her down. It's not to beat her.
Okay. All right. That's the way to deal with a woman. Walk away or take any other action that is not hitting her. Okay. Thank you very much, GM, for that correction. I was told to use allegedly killed and not to say that the husband killed her.
Okay.
All right, because it's not been proven yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chioma, from this story, let's examine the whole scenario that she was allegedly kicked on the chest. And the thing has been going on and on and on. Like when Funke was talking, she said, your pastor shouldn't tell you to stay in an abusive relationship. How do you reconcile this to what the Bible says, that God hates divorce?
Okay.
Chioma?
Well, let me just say that one of the things that an abuser does is an abuser does not like a fair play.
What do you mean by fair play?
As in, you make your point, I make my point. As in, I respect you, you respect me, and you understand we are just in this marriage together. An abuser does not like it. So abuser can use any means. Fear, intimidation, shame, as in body shame you, just to make you feel you will lose your self-confidence, and at the end of the day you will be generally intimidated, and he will succeed in putting you under his thumb. Okay, that is the work of an abuser. So when you see that happening in marriage, you should know that is an abusive marriage. Now, in a situation where you are in it and God hates divorce, when you should use your brain and leave that scenario or separate from that marriage, that is the best thing that you can do, because you are not yet divorcing the person. You can separate, you can step aside just for your life, because you have to be alive for you to be married. You have to be alive, and when children are in the picture, to take care of them.
So are you still a Christian when you walk away from such a marriage?
Of course. Because sometimes, even the way God works, God can, decide to step back and allow things to go on. That does not mean that he is no longer God. That does not mean that if he decides to take immediate action, things will not be corrected. No, but he can as well step back and allow some things to happen, and he will now come and prove himself to be God eventually in any situation that you can think of. You understand? That is why even the sun can always shine on both the evil and the good. God knows what He is doing. So in that same light, you can just say, in abusive relationship, you can try to step back. Let all of us sort out ourselves. Do we really want this? What has been happening to us? Let's miss ourselves a little before we come back together again.
All right. All right. Thank you, Chama. Now, Ikechi, as a man, do you think this thing that happened could have been avoided? What should she have done differently?
Yes, it's so sad, and it's very unfortunate that we are talking about her today when she's no longer alive. It hurts. It's so painful, and I feel so bad about it. Yes, it could have been avoided because the signs were there. A violent person is a violent person, and the signs kept manifesting themselves, but probably we didn't act fast, or that she didn't act fast. I'm also sure that she must have reported this matter to some close relations.
Yeah, this pastor that spoke was one of the people she confided in.
And so, having reported, such matters should have been investigated and the right advice should have been given. Those who investigated the matter should have known whether that man was ready for marriage or not. I read some of the things that played out. Asking him at some point to write undertaking. The marriage gets to that point where you're writing undertaking if you will ever lay your hand on your wife again. Those are red flags. And so it should have been avoided.
So Chama, what do you think Osinachi should have done differently?
I think she should have allowed people to wedge in, because there's a way you will talk to somebody and you don't give the person the room to act. You get? So if you are reporting a situation that is at home, and you should be able to damn all consequences, like, I don't care whether people use me as a topic of their discussion. I just want my life to be saved. You can still allow them to wedge in, because I know maybe she would have been the person that stopped Funke or Frank Edwards from maybe getting the man arrested immediately, as in setting the ball rolling and coming in. You can as well report them and tell them, okay, let me just try. You push this. I'm just telling you people so that you guys will know. But don't worry, don't harass him, don't talk to him, don't come in yet. And it has gotten to this point. So I think what she should have done is she should first of all know that her life is in danger. And any other person that is out there, you feel that your life is in danger. As you're reporting the matter, allow people to step in. No matter what is going to happen, look at your life first. That you have to be alive to be married. You have to be alive and stay for your loved one. So allow them to step in. No matter what it is, allow them to step in to handle the situation for you.
All right. Okay, Ikechi. People she talked to. She actually talked to a few people. What do you think they should have done? What were some of their inactions in this whole scenario? Well, she confided in people. My husband has been abusing me. My husband has been beating me. My husband does this, does that. But I don't want you to confront him about it. What should they have done to rescue her?
As a woman, she did the right thing. She complained. She laid her complaints to people. The first step is to wage in. Come in and see how you can make peace.
Who should have waded in?
The people she reported to.
But she told them not to come in yet.
Well, for me, if you have come to me to report a matter, did you just report it to me to keep quiet? So why did you come? So I will not listen to you. I will make that peace. I will come to your house and I will discuss with your husband, and you will be present. So if you didn't want me to intervene, why did you come? You should have stayed back. The fact that you came is a sign that you want me to do something. You know, somebody can be kidnapped, for instance, and your kidnappers, tell you, tell your people that everything is okay. And so when you tell those out there that everything is okay, they are treating you well, they want those people to believe that, but that's not the true situation. What if she wanted you to intervene, but indirectly? She probably didn't know how to go about it. So I will come and I will make the peace. But if the peace does not work, if the peace doesn't work out after several efforts and the man is still this violent, I will advise that lady to separate and give the husband a break. That is not a crime. Do you know why? If you're giving hot food to eat and the food is so hot, what do? You keep it, you just set it aside and let it get cold, is it not? And when that food is cold, you can come back and eat it and enjoy it. Sometimes marriages need some space.
Of course.
Sometimes. But if that space doesn't still work, let these people stay apart.
The marriage needs some space. I'm interested in that. What are the things you will see in a marriage that will make you know it needs a space at that time?
For instance, violence. Violence is not something that should be tolerated in a marriage. It's not on the part of the man alone.
Yeah, some men are being abused as well.
That's right. Emotionally, especially. Men, their own is emotional abuse. Yes, men could just be emotional abused.
And some women beat up their husbands.
Okay, yes, but you can just get that.
So it says that the men don't have that boldness to come out and say, my wife has been beating me. Yes. Some women actually beat up their husbands.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, you can just be talking about maybe 2 or 3. It is not pronounced that much. But if you're talking about violence, as in beating up, I think it is the men that does that a lot to women. So let's just put it that violence, abuse is abuse, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's financial abuse.
Okay, Chairman, there's financial abuse. How? I'm interested.
When you keep denying your spouse, especially if you're the one that is a breadwinner, you keep denying he, her, or him the access to funds. You know these funds is needed. Or maybe you just claim that maybe your salary has not been increased and things are going up in the market. What do you want her to do? As in, she should use her blood or cut off her finger and bring food to the house. Because the salary has not been increased, you can't increase her feeding money. So if you are able to take care of that, no matter what it is, even if you're able to console the woman and tell her, okay, my dear, you know what? I can't do this for you now. I can't buy this rice for you this month. See how you're going to manage. Next month, I'll do that. You've tried to bring her to really calm down, for her to understand that it's not as if you don't want to give it to her, but for now it's not possible. But when you just keep doing it on the grounds that they did not increase your salary, so don't expect an increase in your feeding money. Meanwhile, the price of things are really, really up. It's financial abuse.
See, Choma, the truth is, for me, marriage is everything. And everything is marriage. Any marriage that has got problems today is because the two people involved are not transparent to each other. If there's no money, the man doesn't need to tell the woman there is no money. The woman knows when both parties are transparent. And so, if the man is doing well, the woman knows. If the man is not doing well, the woman knows. And so this issue of increase my salary, don't increase my salary, is when one party do not really understand what is going on. And that's where the woman will keep asking, honey, what is really going on? Because she does not understand what is really happening. So if you believe that marriage is everything and everything is marriage, don't hide your finances from your wife. She should know how much you earn.
So Nwachukwu, you're not the typical African man that believes that you shouldn't let the woman know everything you earn. Does your wife know everything you earn, really?
Why not?
Wow.
Why not? Why not?
Okay.
There is nothing wrong with that, because that's what marriage represents. If I don't have, she knows I don't have. If the money is there, of course, everyone is happy. And so I don't see my wife complaining. He has not increased my pay. She knows when there is money and when there is no money. That is not an issue in my marriage. And I strongly would advise that most men should be that transparent to their wives. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't mean you are no longer a man.
All right, we'll come back to talk about causes of domestic violence. But we'll have a line for you to call in with. 0903 8537 0903 8537 The program is Let's Talk Marriage on Treasure FM 98.5, and today we're looking at the news that broke out yesterday about gospel singer Osinachi Nwachukwu that was allegedly killed by the husband as a result of years of domestic violence, which she bottled up and maybe didn't want people to intervene in, and that eventually led to her death. So that's what we're examining today, domestic violence. Looks like we have our first call. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Hello, good afternoon.